Hey guys, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we have been here officially 3 months, which means that if we were here on a tourist visa, we would now be breaking the law and being here illegally. But luckily, we were able to get a blue card and we were working here and living here completely legally and getting to stay beyond any time that we would ever get to do if we were just still traveling around.
Now that we've been here for a little while, we've been able to get more settled in, and as we've been just going about our day-to-day lives, we've noticed some things that are different here in Germany than in the US. Things that I thought that's just how things are, but they do some things a little bit differently here. One's not necessarily better than the other, but it's just been really interesting to learn all these things.
One of the very first things that I noticed that is different in my day-to-day life here in Germany versus in the United States is my deodorant. Here in the stores, there are a lot more options of roll-on and ball and like liquid deodorant versus the stick deodorant that I'm used to in the United States. There's still a huge range and selection of deodorants, but stick deodorants are kind of hard to come by. You can definitely still find them, and whenever I have found them, they are like half the size of the deodorant that we have in the United States. I don't know if we're more smelly or what it is, but it is definitely different, something I've had to get used to. Besides the roll-on deodorant, they also have a lot of spray deodorants. That is something that I really don't see a lot of Americans, and at least in Oklahoma where we're from, using. That's something that I see like Axe body spray that like middle schoolers wear, and I bought some to try to get used to it and see if it's something that I could use here. But I cannot handle the aerosol and just the smell, the way that it fills an entire room. It is really, really, really strong. So I wish I still had my stick deodorants from the US, but it's definitely something I can get by with, and it works just the same.
The next thing is office or classroom related. So at work, I immediately started noticing that the paper is different. And then we also got a printer for our home, and we couldn't figure out why everything was printing really funky. But then we realized that they use A4 size paper. It's a little bit longer than the paper that we use in the US, and so everything prints a little bit differently. So for some reason, the US is sticking with US letter size, but everywhere else, I guess, uses A4.
While we've been here, I've been enrolled in an intensive German language school, and just like Aubrey found some differences with the office supplies, I have found differences in the school supplies. So whenever I went shopping for my school supplies the first time before my classes started, I went looking for a pen, and that's when I really found out that Germans still write a lot with fountain pens. We've talked with some locals whose children are in the German school system, and they have told us that they are still required to learn to write with pens. So whenever I was shopping, that's really all I could find was just a lot of different types of fountain pens. So all I found was a little children's trainer pen, which I felt ridiculous using because it was tiny in my hand, but I have really, really enjoyed writing with fountain pens, and now I've been shopping around trying to find other fountain pens that I can use in class, kind of becoming a little bit of a hobby. But something that I've really enjoyed, which has been different from what we're used to in the school system and writing in the United States. And along with the pens, I was also looking for a 3-ring binder to try to keep all of my schoolwork organized and together, but whenever I was searching, I couldn't find a 3-ring binder. I could only find 2-ring binders, which is a very small difference, but it's different. And along with that, one of the bigger differences was that I was looking for a 3-hole punch, so I could actually punch the holes in my paper to keep in my 3-ring binder, but here they only have small little 2-hole punches. So the 2-hole punch is quite a bit easier to manage with just one hand, which is a great positive versus our 3-hole punch. But again, it's one of those differences that it's not right or wrong, it's just different, and it's interesting to take note of.
Another thing that I never would have thought would be different is something as simple as pulling out your phone to text a friend to go out to eat. Different cell phone carriers charge different rates for text messaging. So in the US, a way that a lot of people get around that is by using iMessage, because a lot of people in the US have iPhones. In fact, a 2018 study showed that 82% of teenagers have iPhones. That's a lot. But here in Germany, most people don't have iPhones. They have all kinds of different phones. So what they use in order to message each other is WhatsApp. There are some other different apps, but WhatsApp seems to be the most popular, and they use that for messaging each other. WhatsApp is a free app that reminds us a lot of iMessaging, but it also has video calls and regular phone calls. So that's something that we're getting to know a lot and learning how to use.
After you've been messaging your friends about meeting up at a restaurant to eat, of course, one of the very first things that you will do once you arrive is order your drink. Now let's say that you order a Coke. There will be a few things different about it coming out in Germany versus if you would have ordered it in a restaurant in the United States. One of the very first things that you will notice is that oftentimes it will come out in a glass bottle with the glass on the side. But if they do go ahead and pour it directly into the glass for you, there still be a couple things that you'll notice different. First off, it will not have ice normally. You can ask for ice if you want it in your drink, but typically it will come out already chilled and just the Coke in the glass, which I honestly really prefer because whenever I'm drinking it, I like not having the ice sliding down the glass and hitting my face whenever I'm drinking it, and just having the Coke is really nice, already chilled. The other thing that you'll notice is that pretty much all glasses, especially in restaurants and bars, but oftentimes I've seen it in people's homes as well, will have a mark on the top that will be like a fill line for them whenever they're filling up your cup. I think the main difference for that is because in the US, we always are getting free refills, and so it doesn't really matter how much they fill up your cup. A lot of times they'll, of course, fill it with a ton of ice so they give you less Coke in your glass whenever they do it that way. But here, since you're really paying for that one drink, they're going to fill it up to that line, and that is how much you're paying for.
After you order your drink, if you're out with German friends, they will likely order mineral water. In a German restaurant, usually if you order water, they will ask you if you want it sparkling or still. Sparkling water is just carbonated water, and it seems to be the standard here in Germany for water. A lot of people will go to the grocery store and buy liters and liters of sparkling water. And here in Germany, they have some of the best tap water we have ever had and some of the purest from what we've seen, but most people still like sparkling water. It seems to be on the rise in the US, but it's still not the norm for if you go to a restaurant, they're not going to assume you want sparkling water. And we've even seen in some German homes, they will carbonate their own water because they like it so much. Also, if you're in a restaurant, usually when you order water, they won't just bring it out in glasses. Sometimes they do, but most of the time what we've experienced is they'll bring it out in a big glass bottle. And finally, at the end of your meal, whenever you pay, if you ask to pay with card, instead of just taking it off to who knows where like they do in the US, they will bring a card machine to your table and enter your card right there in front of you. It seems like there's a lot more transparency.
One of the other differences in our day-to-day life is in our kitchen and in our grocery shopping. So eggs here in Germany do not need to be refrigerated. In the grocery store, they're not in a refrigerated section. They're just setting out on the shelf. And whenever you bring them home, you just keep them on a shelf in your pantry or in a closet, and you don't have to put them in a fridge. The reason that we've learned is because in the United States, we have a manufacturing process that once they collect the eggs, they have to wash them, which strips them of the cuticle, which is the protective layer on the outside of the egg so that pathogens don't seep inside the shell. And that is why we have to refrigerate them, versus in Europe, where the farmers will vaccinate their chickens directly for salmonella. That does not require them to wash it afterwards, thus stripping the cuticle, which allows them to not have to refrigerate the eggs. But it's kind of funny though, because whenever we shop for eggs and we open the carton, you'll find feathers and specks of dirt and everything, which makes it really feel like you're getting farm fresh eggs.
Yeah, we have to wash our eggs before we use them.
And then just like the eggs, a lot of the milk here in Germany also doesn't have to be refrigerated. One of the most popular types of milk in Germany is H milk, which is heat-treated milk. This milk during manufacturing has been heated to an ultra-high temperature, which then allows it to be shelf-stable and allows it to last a lot longer than milk that we have like in the United States. Whenever we go shopping for milk in the US, you're always in the refrigerated section. You're usually grabbing a gallon or a half gallon size of milk, and it's going to have a date on it that's going to be only like a week, maybe two in advance of when it's going to expire. Whereas here, you go to the shelves out away from the refrigerated section, grab 1 liter of H milk, and that's probably going to last up to like 6 months since you can keep that in your pantry. It does have a slightly different taste, and I don't know if I prefer this milk, but it is really nice whenever we can go to the grocery store and just stock up on a ton of it, keep it in the shelf, and we don't have to go to the grocery store always searching for milk.
I think I prefer it. I really like this milk.
And the milk comes sealed, so once you open it though, it does need to go in the fridge or else it will expire quicker. H milk isn't the only type of milk in Germany. There are a lot of other milks, and you will find some different types that are in the refrigerated section, but it's gonna be a smaller selection, and it's not as commonly purchased as H milk. So these have been just a few of the mundane, everyday life differences that we've noticed here in Germany versus in the US. And we know that we're going to be learning a lot more as we're going. And so we may do another difference videos like this again in the future as we learn these things. So if you know of any other little mundane differences, day-to-day life differences that you know of between US and Germany or Europe, leave those in the comments below so that we can read these and see if we also have noticed those yet. And also, if you like this video, please hit the like button and also subscribe so that you can keep up with more of our adventures and you can see these videos coming out in the future. Thanks so much for watching.
Bye.
So those are just a few of the small, mundane, everyday to day. Okay. I really prefer that system because I prefer not having glass sliding down and hitting my face when I'm drinking it.
You said glass going down on your face.
Ah!
That'd be terrifying.